Actually, what's rather nice about these, they're being on the top floor because they have access from the circulation area. They've got a little circular roof light on above them to get natural light into those spaces.
They're
yes,
so light.
They're very light, yes.
We also have an interesting sounding room called an in-reach room, which
I saw that.
I don't know whose invention in-reach was.
I think it's yours. I never quite understood what it meant, actually.
Well, I didn't know what it meant either, but it's opposite of outreach, but it's people coming into the school. So it could be about young people coming in to have, say, to do a course that need a sort of a common room sort of place. It's going to be a multifunction room. So
that's the building acknowledging that your constituency is wider than just the children who attend the school.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got to prepare children or young people for the world, and they've got to have economic well-being, and they've got to enjoy what they do. They've got to live healthily. They've got to do all sorts of things. So, in fact, it's really imperative that you have flexible spaces, and particularly a big flexible space as well as those little ones. So, the other advantage, or what has been built into this building, is a sort of upstairs, downstairs, but can be kept away from the children. So it's like a little pod upstairs and downstairs, just of administration.
But that was an interesting area because that actually really just did organically evolve in a way.
Yes.
That wasn't necessarily part of your initial brief, but I suppose going through the iterative process, we just discovered that that was a potential opportunity. And I remember you being very excited at the time and realising we could actually do that. It's basically a fire escape stair. All of the circulation vertically typically would be with these two lovely stairs within the main circulation spaces. So the students should never need to use that apart from the event of a fire, but actually how you can use that as a back stair to actually use it for staff areas.
So some of the things were in the output spec, and that was what we were aiming to do, and that was about fine-tuning the building, wasn't it? We met a lot, and some of it was coincidence almost, and some of it, and then it became built into the plan. We also have a wonderful hall which is going to be multi-purpose as well, because that's the way we work. We have to use them for assemblies and productions and PE as well. But it's a wonderful hall with bleacher seating and a curtain-style proscenium arch, and really great, absolutely fantastic.
The interconnecting door to get to back of stage, which was rather a challenge, I have to say, because the structure of the building changed at this point from concrete frame to steel frame, and we've got a big concrete wall which we had to create an opening through, plus we've got steel cross bracing, so it was quite a challenge to achieve that.
But you've made it look easy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, he has, and nobody's ever said that to me before. But it is very important, because if
bore you with those
if you're actually got a production details going on, you've got to change or come from
the
somewhere.
green room, yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah, so the upstairs is for the younger children, and the downstairs tends to be for the older ones. And incorporated into the downstairs part, there's a sort of a servery, a cafe, so our children can learn to run a cafe, run a business, in fact.
So that reinforces, doesn't it, the idea that central space is sort of public in nature within the school.
Yeah.
Let's go outside. So your school shares a playground with the mainstream school.
Well,
how does that
not
work?
quite. Here we've got our way in and where the buses park and everything else. But our Samuel Rhodes play area is actually located around this end of the building, and that is going to be a grassy. We think that the young people don't have enough green space. We think they don't get an opportunity to pond dip and look at bats and birds and turn over stones and see what's underneath them. So, and we feel that would be something other than football. There is a football space, but actually we would like children to do other things at playtime as well. So there's a whole variety of things there. There's gardening, there's all sorts of
and
things
for the more formal organised football games, you can use that.
Yeah, but there is a kick-around area here.
Yeah.
But yes, we would book this, and as there's a running track, I don't know how far is that?
200 metres,
okay,
with a 100-metre dash along there.
Right.
And Jackie, you've enjoyed doing this, haven't you?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I want to know when the next project is. No, but it's been a treat, because you go into it as a teacher. I go into it thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know anything about buildings, and you get taken forward by what you care about and what you want for the children, and the vision of what the curriculum is and what you want is taken up by the architects, who are so wonderful. And
what about the process? Did you find it easy to read plans? And
well, that's a good point,
look at
actually, because I was just
sketches
thinking that, because I think whether you did from the beginning, but you soon grasped the ability to read what we were producing in 2 dimensions very quickly. I mean, we did sort of produce a mixture of 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional drawings, and we worked quite a lot with working models as well, which I think probably helped the process. But being able to kind of grapple with sizes of spaces and circulation and just the principles of plans was very well. It was a very good grasp of it. I think he had.
And here's the killer question: how much grip do you have on the detail?
Well, I think devil's in the detail, isn't it?
In the finishes and the lighting.
Yeah,
and
well,
things
absolutely.
like that,
I think it's really, really important. And if it's the finish isn't right, then people are going to come in and say, yeah, okay, very nice.
I'm disappointed.
Yes, and we don't want the children to think that either. And we don't want anybody to think that there's this wonderful building, but my goodness, look at that sticking out there, or look at that hanging down. You know.
So the people building this building, they're interested in that kind of direct relationship between what they're providing and the children's.
I mean, I have regular meetings. Now we're getting close to the time of the move. I'm having regular meetings with with all the people involved. It would be nice if the architects were able to be involved more, because it's your plan, it's your vision, and it needs to be carried through by everybody.
Your vision, come on.
No, but I think there's a continuity of idea
Yeah.
that is going to be read in the detail, and I think you're right. The architect should
be
the one that makes that happen.
But part of that is
and then sort of sees it through. I think.
Part of that actually, I guess, is the process, the building a schools for future process, because unlike in a kind of a traditional process where there's a relationship between architects and clients, etc., pretty much most of the meetings we're chaperoned, and we've got to be slightly kind of conscious about what we suggest and what we actually include within the scheme, just in case it's not considered to be affordable. But saying that, I didn't think it necessarily prevented actually having that sort of direct relationship, which sometimes it can do. It can sometimes stifle that, but in our scenario, I don't think it did at all, really.
No, but what's good about working with you is that if there's something a little odd, I don't mean, something a little different, I'll say, well, why have you done that? And you will have a reason for doing it.
Not necessarily a good reason, but...
Well, there will be a discussion about it. So if the builder thinks, well, that's odd, well, let's just do it that way, then that reasoning is lost. And I think that's really important to make sure that that relationship...
that sense of belonging that you're creating in a building for your pupils is something that you'd also like to... One needs in the process itself, a sense that you belong to the process and have... largely instrumental in organising it, designing it, choosing it, and then sort of seeing it actually happen.
Yeah.
I think the best buildings are ones which are actually been shaped by that kind of dialogue in a way.
And that dialogue going right through to that moment of completion.
Absolutely, and beyond.
And beyond in occupation.